Divine alignment is something that is very much unknown in the old earth vibrations. And with that I mean with most of people on earth, they don't know there is a possibility to do a divine alignment. So they are still into healing processes, ancestral lines, trauma, etc., on the human plane, on the human level. And actually, that's when I was channeling that, I heard, or I felt that was an endless cycle. So this means that those who engage into therapy, into healing, into also the old earth techniques like Reiki, etc., or shamanism, unfortunately, as well. These are old earth techniques. They don't necessarily, I think 99% of them, they don't align to your divinity. So what does this mean? When you want to align to your divinity, you transcend the human aspect of yourself, and you transcend also to a certain extent, depending on to what you're aligning yourself with. A divine alignment is a very broad concept. What is divine alignment? It's a very good question. But you transcend in any way the human plane. And for some who practice divine alignment, they go into certain levels of soul light codes or soul consciousness levels. So when one practices divine alignment, so when you, for instance, go on sessions with someone who practices divine alignment on you, what you experience is that your mindset completely shifts. You're no longer attuned to what happened to you on an earthly level, on a relationship level, but you go to your own core, your divine essence. And that allows you to transcend all that. So new ways of thinking come, new consciousness comes in. You don't go into these repetitive cycles. If you've healed one aspect, well, then you have to do that one and that one and that one. No, that stops. So as soon as you go into divine alignment, you receive certain frequency codes that immediately dissolve all the old human blockages. And it depends to what level you go in divine alignment. There are many practitioners who already engage in that. And I think it is based upon where they find themselves on that ladder. And then you practically move into new light consciousness. So you go more in rebuilding yourself according to who you are on a soul level. And that is such a great relief. And it's such a shortcut, because for those who go into healing, into therapy sessions, even reading or sessions, reading, it is infinite, and there are so many tones on the earthly plane, so many lives that we have.
Can you summon it as shadow work, what you are describing, so you can skip shadow work?
What I actually am trying to say is you don't necessarily skip it, but when you practice old earth techniques, like I mentioned, you kind of go into shadow work, and you keep moving in those shadows. But what you don't do is you do not gain a position of overview. You don't go into an helicopter view of light that you shine upon all your shadow. That's the thing. As soon as you go
Okay.
into the overarching position, that you see, okay, I've had so many lives on earth. I've lived so much as a soul, and not only on earth, I've lived so much in cosmos, and on other planets or on other stars, and it wasn't easy there as well. I've been hurt there as well because there is duality. Then the overarching position allows you to find the main string in all these experiences. And so divine alignment is you take that main string that is the common factor of all these shadow parts, and you just align it with your divinity so that string dissolves. While in the old ways, you have to go in each experience and you cry and you release and you gain consciousness about that specific experience in that complete shadow field. But there's so much you could do. If you just consider how many we have been here billions of years in this
It goes very
cosmos.
slow. It's
If you have to
very
do
slow.
that in one lifetime to have to take your enlightenment on those levels that you really want to master cosmic enlightenment, yes, it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean with why is it such a shame that so many people still remain in those old ways while they're not really conscious about what exists and what could really bring them into a quantum growth, a path of quantum evolution. So they really advance very fast in releasing all that they don't longer want, the consciousness shadows that they no longer want to align with. Yeah.
And how do you do that? Because a lot of people who are getting more conscious about the energetic world, yeah, they go obviously to a shaman or doing Reiki or stuff like that, but they're not going to change a lot. But you can also skip all this and go to, you have to go to a person who can align you, or can it happen by itself, like a spontaneous awakening or alignment? Is that possible?
In the work that I am doing, you can have spontaneous awakenings, but to really release the blockages on those levels, I haven't met anyone who has done that because we are so ingrained into these old patterns, old human patterns, old cosmic patterns, old primordial patterns that I have never met someone who just had an awakening and dissolved all of them.
Mm-hmm. So it's also partly awakening, because there are people who are writing books about it, that I was so depressed and I was so deep, and the next morning I had this awakening and I saw it all, and they write a book about it. But that's then partly awakening. They just
It's a consciousness awakening. It is an entry of light code, but it's not an embodiment. Because an embodiment, in how I am seeing it with people that I work with, it is not easy, because to release the old patterns means that you release everything that you have built yourself upon, that you have built your soul upon, that you have built your personality upon, that your mechanisms. It means you have to release all anchors and learn to anchor yourself in your own energy, in your own gravity field, in your 0 point gravity field. And that's a very interesting thing, because everything that has to do with attachment styles, those attachment styles are unhealthy or even distorted, like codependency or feeling helpless and relying on someone else or being dominant. So these attachment styles, they all come from, I would say, the primordial patterns that we moved with into creation. And so if you want to release them, it means that you no longer know what your anchorages are. And so very few people just release them like that, because there is no other foundation. That is how I have perceived it. We tend to stay in the attachment styles. There are many levels of enlightenment, and people can be already very, very attuned to their core essence, very much into oneness, very much into the all-knowing, into the hermetic principle, as above, so below. I am all that is. But still, the attachments and how you attach yourself to existence, if you are really sovereign, all attachment styles are based upon your 0-point gravity field. And that's not easy. Not many people know how to implement that, how to embody that.
And this 0-point gravity field is the source of your being? How can you
Kind of
describe
the
it?
center of your being that allows you to emanate outward and to expand, to keep expanding, like creation keeps expanding. We are beings that are in a constant flux of expansion, of evolution. If we ever would think that, we are completed, yes, there are levels of completion. Even cosmic enlightenment is only a level of completion. There are many levels beyond that as well.